I didn't tell my parents that I was experiencing depression. They found out because of the symptoms and stuff, but I didn't really want them to know because I didn't know and I didn't understand, so I didn't think that they'd understand.
The first time I thought about suicide, I was 7 years old. It was really challenging for my parents because they didn't know what was going on.
The person that I let know that I wasn't feeling okay was my mother. We were extremely close, so I pretty much just told her that I had been having thoughts of suicide.
I don't think my mom really understood, as when I was a teenager, what I was dealing with or what I was going through. I mean, because honestly, I didn't. I would articulate it. I would write poems, I would write letters, and I would, raps and stuff and express my pain.
Seeing my child go through depression was definitely a trigger because I knew what she was going through. And I wanted to be there for her and hold her and tell her everything was gonna be okay.
I started feeling the most pressure from my friends, and that's definitely a big part of how this all started. After a couple sessions of therapy and when I got more into it, I definitely associated myself with better people, and that made me happy and that made me feel better about myself.
10 years was hard for me because dudes who I respected and looked up to were in the streets heavy. And I had some artistic opportunities. I got accepted into like a performing arts school. I relate to Tupac so much because I know he was like into the arts and all that, but then there was a whole other side of him that he was wrestling with. And so that's kind of how I felt, was this conflicted teen years, and it was hard.
I didn't like to hang out with my friends. I didn't like to read, which is something that I'm really into.
It was hard for me to focus. I would always compare myself to everybody else around me. All of a sudden, I didn't feel like I fit in, which was weird because I was very social and I had a lot of friends.
I most certainly had suicidal ideation as a teen. I experienced that for a very long time.
I think I was around 20 and my first time going to talk to a doctor about it, and it was because I'm spiraling out of control and I was like, I'm gonna kill somebody today or I'm gonna kill myself. And I just pulled into a hospital parking lot and I said, it was like God was like, pull over for somebody dies today.
When I first started going to my therapist, I definitely was not excited. It took me to go to more than one therapist to find someone that I was comfortable with and find a place where the setting wasn't as dark.
Initially, I didn't feel like I was getting much out of it because I was withholding information from my therapist. I didn't start being fully transparent with my therapist until I had been seeing her for about 5 years.
I said, look, I'm spazzing, and that was when they was like, all right, we're gonna sit you down and get you some treatment. And that was the first time I had to sit in front of somebody and like hear, like, oh, this is what this could potentially be.
It was probably about 3 months into me seeing a psychologist that I realized that it might have been my ADD or my anxiety that triggered my depression.
I eventually started taking medication for my depression, and it took some time before we found the right medication. It did get to a point where I feel good, I feel happy.
What we know is that a combination of therapy and medicine is usually what's best, but medicine can definitely be helpful for teenagers and children.
I was prescribed Lexapro for the first time and I started taking it pretty much immediately. And it did make a pretty good improvement.
We have to do better as a society. We have to do better as a community, especially in the Black community, making people feel comfortable with wrestling with their issues and their struggles. That's why I show my scars off.
I think that when you're going through depression or anxiety, talking to someone is the best thing to do.
I am happy to share my story. I do a lot of speaking for NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness, speaking to teens and young adults about mental health. And I found that once you open up, other people are so much more likely to share their own stories because it's something we all deal with.
Go talk to somebody. Everybody can't afford therapy, but if you can, go. Sit in somebody's office and cry. You know what I mean? Get you some good friends and cry. And get you the type of friends that ain't trying to fix you, they just want to face you. You can be saying off the wall stuff and they're not gonna be like, well, they're gonna be like, just let it out, bro, let it out, sis, you know what I mean? I'm with you, and that's what you need to do.